Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Up in the Air. I'm Ryan Breton.
And I'm Meredith Fish.
Well, Meredith, it's been a bit nicer here in State College lately, at least a little bit warmer.
That's right. We've had a little bit of cloudy weather and some rain throughout this week, unfortunately, though.
Yeah, that's right. We'll find out from JP Nicola if the cloudy, damp weather of this week will remain in place.
Plus, we'll take a look at the latest from the soybean and natural gas markets. Students from our weather risk management class will be here once again with our report.
And we'll have a look at winter storm naming and what that means for the field of weather communication.
But first, here's Update in the Air. A research project between NASA and the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency tried to calculate rain power in hurricanes from 15 years of data. Using data such as mean sea level pressure, temperature, and vertical humidity profiles, they built a thermodynamic hurricane model to predict the intensity of each hurricane with and without rain power. The results concluded that a 10 to 30% reduction in storm intensity was due to rain power. This is an under-researched factor of tropical activity and will hopefully bring more light to how rain power affects hurricane intensity as a whole.
California has been in the middle of an intense drought for the past few years. Last week, major steps were taken to adapt to the conditions occurring in the state. Governor Jerry Brown ordered the state's first ever mandatory water restrictions last week, all in response to the drought. In an executive order, Governor Brown ordered a 25% reduction in the state's 400 local water supply agencies over the next year. In January of last year, the governor issued a voluntary reduction order with hopes of alleviating some of the demands of the state's water supply. The state struggled to reach the 20% reduction goal set back then, but now with the ability to impose fines on local water suppliers that fail to follow this mandatory restriction, the governor believes more will react. The winter snowpack is a large contributor to California's water supply. However, as of April 1st, the state's snowpack was only 5% of average, and the last above normal year was 2011. The drought is not just limited to California. Portions of Nevada are now categorized in a severe long-term drought as well. Even portions of Utah and Arizona are feeling the impact of this prolonged dry, warm period, and regulations in these states may be necessary in reaction to the declining water supply.
By the middle of last week, Antarctica hit 60 degrees before Boston. The temperature on the northern tip of Antarctica's peninsula was recorded at 63.5 degrees, potentially breaking Antarctica's all-time heat record. The last warmest known temperature was 62.8 degrees, which was recorded at the same base in 1961. The UN's World Meteorological Organization is currently evaluating whether it did, in fact, set an all-time record or not. The warm weather in Antarctica can be attributed to the El Niño event we are currently experiencing in the Pacific Ocean, which is affecting weather patterns around the world. This is in comparison to Boston's temperatures, which were still hovering in the 30s during this event.
Do you know that weather and forecasting makes its way into government policy? Last year, we talked about the Weather Forecasting Improvement Act, introduced in the months following Sandy and a series of poorly predicted weather events by the American Computer Model, or GFS. Weather and forecasting are making their way back into Congress, this time in the form of the Weather Research and Forecasting Innovation Act, introduced last month by Oklahoma Representative Frank Lucas. The bill, which was referred to the House Committee on Space, Science, and Technology, aims to improve NOAA's weather research and ability to forecast high-impact weather events. A portion of the bill is the creation of the Tornado Warning Improvement and Extension Program, which analyzes the current state of the nation's tornado warning system. While it was proposed by a representative from Oklahoma, it also includes a Hurricane Warning Improvement Program designed for similar reasons, better forecasts of tropical cyclones here in the United States. Interestingly, the bill encourages a private-public partnership, or in other words, sectors of the weather enterprise working together, collaborating sources of weather data. That's Update in the Air for this week. Be back right after this with much more.
Welcome back to Up in the Air.
It's now time to check in with students from Penn State's Weather Risk and Financial Markets class for the latest on the soybean and natural gas markets.
Rob England and Brian Adams are here with this week's report.
Hello, and welcome to the market analysis portion of Up in the Air. I'm Brian Adams, and I'll be providing the analysis on the soybean meal market.
Hi, I'm Rob England, and I'll be providing the analysis on the natural gas futures market.
With last week's release of the quarterly stocks report from the United States Department of Agriculture, prices briefly shot upward. This is likely due to the projected planting acreage of United States soybeans coming in at a record high level, which, looking into the future, can indicate a higher demand for soybeans in the 2015 marketing year. Prices for May contracts topped out nearly $334 per short ton last week, which is the highest that we've seen since mid-March. Prices have since fallen back down into the lower 320s. Looking ahead at the weather side of things, temperatures look to be fairly normal for this time of year across the Brazilian state of Mato Grosso and northern Argentina, which are two major suppliers of South American soybeans. Soybeans are also grown in southeastern Brazil, which looks to be a little bit cooler than normal. In terms of precipitation, Mato Grosso and Argentina can expect some wetter weather with drier conditions in southeastern Brazil. Well, now with Brazil's harvest nearly complete and Argentina's harvest ongoing, but slightly behind schedule despite some favorable weather, traders will be looking forward to the release of the World Agricultural Supply and Demands Estimates Report, or the WASDE report, to get a better idea of the anticipated soybean yield from South America. The report comes out this Friday, April 10th.
The natural gas June 2015 contract closed at $2.698 Monday evening, which is 6.4 cents less than the previous close of $2.762 last Thursday. The market was closed on Friday due to Good Friday. The weekly U.S. Energy Information Administration, or EIA, weekly natural gas report showed a withdrawal of 18 billion cubic feet, which caused prices to rise. This makes sense due to the basic principles of supply and demand. The previous week was an injection of 12 billion cubic feet, so the injection season hasn't started yet. Stocks are 620 billion cubic feet higher than this time last year, but still 190 billion cubic feet below the 5-year average. The price this time a year ago was over $4, and you shouldn't expect to see that price anytime soon. Record production this year should keep prices on the low side like they are now. Taking a look at the weather, temperatures over much of the United States are forecasted to be above normal during week 1, near normal during week 2 and week 3, and below normal during week 4, which takes us into the beginning of May. Going forward, price-wise, I expect the current volatile market to continue with up and down price trends, but I don't expect weather to play a crucial factor into the market since it is so late in the season. So keep riding the wave, traders. Thank you for watching. We hope you learned something from today's report. For Up in the Air, I'm Rob England.
And I'm Brian Adams.
It's time now for our climate outlook, a look at how the weather is trending in the 8 to 14-day period.
JP Nicola is here right now with the details, and hopefully it will stay warmer than normal, or at least near normal like it's been the past few weeks.
For real. Take it away, JP.
Thanks, Meredith and Ryan. I'm student meteorologist JP Nicola, and I'm here with this week's Climate Outlook. As winter begins to wind down as we move into the month of April, we can take a look at the winter as a whole here in State College, and we totaled at 52 inches, which actually is the same total we saw last year and is above the average that we normally see of 45 inches. As we take a look at the country, we can see that the snow is still confined to the northern tiers of the country, both east and west. And as of April 7th, 14% of the country is still covered in snow. And with the warmer temperatures forecasted, we can expect that number to decrease. And this will actually be the last snowfall cover map that we show on this show. As we take a look at the temperatures in the 8 to 14-day outlook covering the period of April 15th to April 21st, we can see that we have a warming trend here along the eastern seaboard into the southeast with above average temperatures. And as we see into the central part of the country, we can expect temperatures to be slightly below normal and even below normal up in the northern Rockies. And out on the west coast, we can see that there will be a warming trend as well, with well above average temperatures in the state of California. Now looking at the precip, we can see that with those warmer temperatures and sort of a change in the atmospheric pattern, we can see that the southeast as well up into the northeast can be expected to see above average precipitation totals in the 8 to 14-day outlook, once again covering the period of April 15th through April 21st. And moving out to the west coast, we can see that there will be below normal precipitation totals and drier conditions, which won't be too favorable for the drought that is ongoing out there already. And that's it for this week's Climate Outlook.
Everyone knows that once a tropical storm is born, it receives a name. But why are they so special?
Should winter storms receive names as well? I'm Amanda Reynolds.
And I'm Marissa Lautenbacher, and we will be discussing the debate on winter storm naming in the Climate and Weather Enterprise.
In the winter of 2012 and 2013, the Weather Channel decided that they were going to begin naming winter storms similarly to how hurricanes are currently named.
The Weather Channel determined that naming would help raise awareness of major winter weather events that would sweep across the nation. They have a quantitative way in which they name storms. We talked to winter weather expert Tom Nizzle to find our answer.
And so the method that we use, as I related to earlier, is a time-tested method of using the National Weather Service's winter storm warning thresholds for evaluating how many people or how large an area will be under those types of thresholds.
The Weather Channel thought that tagging a name to a storm would help their viewers track the storm as it moves across the country. They wanted to give people at home the power to hashtag the name of the event and the ability to share it over social media platforms for others to recognize the impact of the storm in their area. Weather Channel can easily find tweets and posts for the winter storm name and can share it with their viewers on air for those who may not have access to social media.
However, the National Weather Service has a very different perspective. Dr. Ussolini, the director of the National Weather Service, says that a large majority of the weather enterprise, including the National Weather Service, recognizes the difficulty and complications in naming winter storms and sees no added benefit to the added complication. They focus on making sure that the impacts of the storms are properly communicated.
There's a wide distribution of impacts associated with winter storms, and that's what we have to get right. Where's the rain-snow line? Where is snow going to be from a light to moderate to heavy? Where is the heaviest, the strongest winds going to be? Where are the freezing temperatures going to be? These are the kinds of impacts that we're communicating to our users, and a name doesn't help with that.
In addition, it was said that the National Weather Service does not name winter storms and has no intention of doing so in the future. Their main concern with the naming is the confusion of what is actually being named.
It's what are we naming? Now, for winter storms, we can predict these storms, in some cases 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 day in advance. So for 7 days, these storms are being projected in the media as a numerical forecast. The storm itself can develop, hit an area, and actually move, away from the U.S. all in some cases 12 to 18 hours.
There is a whirlwind of mixed feelings from all types of media and users of weather information. There are some strong supporters and others that feel a strong distaste of the topic.
There would have to be a strong consensus from meteorologists from the public, private, and academic sector together and discuss whether it would be improve or hinder the communication of weather information.
The American Meteorological Society would need to be the ultimate mediator.
So, will winter storm naming continue and start to snowball?
Or will the idea just melt away into the past?
For Up in the Air, I'm Marissa Lautenbacher.
And I'm Amanda Reynolds.
2-1. Welcome back to Up in the Air.
We would like to thank the students who contributed to the show this week.
Tune in next week for another show. For now, I'm Meredith Fish.
And I'm Ryan Breton. Join us next week, Up in the Air.